Um, Recently, I have had many interviews, some with Canadian companies, or the others are Japanese companies. Um, so usually when I have interview with Canadian employers, they definitely introduce themselves at the beginning. That's a must kind. While when I have interviews with Japanese employers, they sometimes they don't introduce themselves. So it's very weird. We meet up in a room, and I don't know who they are. I know they are interviewers, but I don't know what their names are, what they're doing at the company. And we sat together, and one of the guys said, "So introduce yourself." Oh, wait. Who are you? Did you introduce yourself? Or are you going to introduce after I introduce myself? But they don't. So I'm wondering, who am I talking to? And this kind of thing happens all the time at the Japanese interviews. Some Japanese introduce themselves, but like, I don't know, more than half of them don't really introduce themselves even at interview settings. The other example is I went to a university in Canada when I was 30. So other Japanese student there is like 5 years younger or 10 years younger sometimes. So what happens is it's easier for us to speak in English or to meet in English. We are Japanese, but we use English at the beginning because, yeah, obviously I look older and they are younger, so they know that I'm old. So if we speak Japanese, they have to switch the language from casual Japanese to very polite Japanese, keigo. The transition is kind of weird, and I met a Japanese guy. I think he's like 6 years younger, and yeah, we met, and we spoke in English. And the other student, I think they are Chinese students, they asked us, "Oh, why are you guys speaking English? You guys are Japanese, right?" So we were like, yeah. And we should switch the language to Japanese. And then he was kind of weird out, because yeah, in English you can talk to anyone like equally, but in Japanese language, age matters. So if you are younger or if you're older, then you switch language. You change Japanese from casual Japanese to polite Japanese, or polite Japanese to casual Japanese. So meeting to new people in Japanese language requires lots of thought. And it doesn't really feel comfortable, even for Japanese people. I'm gonna give you one more example. It is about a group dating settings, which is called Gokon. Since we don't meet new people like individually, randomly, to meet girls or to meet boys, we set up settings. I mean, we set up a party kind of things where like four four girls and four guys meet together, and it's called the Gokon. And I heard Gokon exists only in Korea and Japan, where you know we have similar culture. So what happens at the Gokon is very weird. Usually, like four girls, four boys, they don't know each other. However, one of the boys and one of the girls know each other, so they set up a party. And usually we meet up at the train station. So four boys shows up, four girls show up, and two of us know, but the other the other six don't know each other at all. So when we meet up at the train station, we don't talk. Only one boy and one girl know each other, so notice each other, and now let's go to izakaya. So they lead us to izakaya. But the other six don't talk, don't even look at each other. Of course we look at each other. This is a dating setting. Boys scan quickly girls, and of course girls look at boys and how they are, right? But we don't talk. It's very awkward. So, and once we get to a izakaya, and once we sit down at the table, we still don't talk. And then after we sit down, maybe beer served, and then there are two hosts and a hostess, and they say, okay, so why don't we start introducing ourselves? And then we finally start introducing each other one by one. It's not like hi, nice to meet you thing, or not right. Okay, so you introduce yourself. Next you, next you. So this shit. So like one by one we introduce ourselves. どうも、ヤスです。どうも、はじめまして。And the next guy, どうも、佐々木です。That kind of thing. And that's why we need alcohol. Well, everyone needs alcohol, like even in the States of Canada. But anyway, I think that illustrates how we meet, how Japanese people meet Japanese people, and how it is strange even to Japanese people. So I think this understanding covers almost all aspects of Japanese social life, or how they interact with people. So seen from a Western standard, yeah, of course the Japanese people are very shy, but it's only when you meet somebody new, and then once you get into a circle of exclusive small group, and then they open up, and they are far from polite or shy once you get into a group. So that's how we are.